Hey guys, welcome back to the Cool Classic Kids Show, and today we have to talk about Ubisoft because they're officially on an apology tour, and this all revolves around Assassin's Creed Shadow. Yes, this game has been under an immense amount of debate. Honestly, I didn't even want to get involved in this whole thing because I just thought, like, Assassin's Creed are just they're all $20 at most games anyway. Like I only buy them when they're like super deep discounted because their games have never really been worth very much in my eyes. I do happen to like a little bit of their, RPG grind in some of their later games, but even then it's like it's a chore. When I play one of those games, I feel like I don't have to play another one for another 5 years. I did enjoy Odyssey, however, but yeah, I didn't play another Assassin's Creed game for at least 5 years later. But I didn't really have any interest in getting into this topic, but shout out to a homie. He knows who he is. He was saying, "Hey, maybe you should in fact cover this and give a more um what he thinks what in reality would be a level-headed perspective, but unfortunately this whole situation in regards to Assassin's Creed and Yosuke, who is allegedly to have been a samurai under Nobunaga from Japan. Allegedly. Nobody knows. That's the issue. And that's why I don't really like to cover this because I don't know what the truth is. But I've heard some things and there's also been rebuttals to those things and then rebuttals to the rebuttals and then rebuttals to rebuttals. And that's what's been going on and people have been clashing like crazy. But shout out to the homie that was like, "Hey, maybe you should do like a sane take on this whole situation," because he thinks that what I think is fair and sane. I don't know. I don't know, but I'm going to just tell you guys how I feel about this overall. And it's not just him that convinced me to cover this. I happen to have tweeted something out that yeah, really pissed people off because on the apology tour tweet that Ubisoft put out, which is right here, um I put this tweet out because I am a stan of Ghost of Tsushima. I think it's one of the best games last generation. It is peak last generation. And I just said, funny how Ghost of Tsushima didn't have issues. It's almost like one studio set out to make a good, respectful game, and you guys had other things in mind, like manufacturing engagement on a mediocre franchise. And look, man, I could be wrong, but it genuinely felt like Assassin's Creed Shadow was more made to just piss people off in America first and foremost. Like Ubisoft obviously knows the whole political situation in America and how divisive these sorts of things are. They chose to do this. And it's like, okay, Bretta, but you know what? It's just led to people just going at each other for what, like a month now, maybe more than that at this point. It's really honestly just lame as hell. And I put this tweet out and look at the responses, dude. I was thinking, obviously I did this because I knew it was going to make somebody mad, mind you. Like, most of the time I do things because I know it's going to make somebody mad. But I didn't think it was going to make people this fucking mad. I mean, like, come on, bro. Are you kidding me? Let me reload this page because I feel like it's even worse. Yeah, over 200,000 views over a mild ass take that I knew was going to make a few people mad. Not this many people mad. And yeah, I think that this is pathetic. You're all pathetic. And I just decided to take advantage of the situation and put up something else that was going to make some other asshole mad. But yeah, this whole entire situation, the fact that this mild take is received this divisively, pathetic. And the reason why I said this is because, well, Ghost of Tsushima is developed by Sucker Punch. And as many may know, Sucker Punch is not at all Japanese. And despite not at all being Japanese, and despite the losers in America bitching that they weren't Japanese, yeah, a bunch of loser ass white people on these like super ultra woke lefty websites, yeah, they were crying that Sucker Punch wasn't Japanese. But even despite Sucker Punch not being Japanese, Ghost of Tsushima devs were made permanent ambassadors of the real island of Tsushima. And man, that is such an amazing achievement. Not only did this game make so many gamers happy, but it was so well received by the island of Tsushima itself, and the people there, that the real Japanese island of Tsushima has given a prestigious award to two senior members of the Ghost of Tsushima development team. Director Nate Fox and creative director Jason Connell will become permanent tourism ambassadors of the city of Tsushima in Nagasaki, the island, announced this week. And this was back in March 5th of 2021. So what an achievement. What a what an amazing respect to be given for a essentially what is just simply a piece of entertainment. But they took that piece of entertainment so seriously. And apparently, while obviously it is a work of fiction, they did their absolute utmost to do their due diligence in crafting this world in a way that, well, the people of the island themselves seem to have deemed worthy. And that's pretty awesome, man. Overall, that is great. And it really, honestly, this whole situation made these losers on these journalist websites look pathetic. Absolutely crybaby pathetic. And I loved seeing it. Like, just the fact that great devs did a solid video game drop. And then on top of it all, this happening to make losers mad, cope and seize is amazing, man. But which brings me to this whole situation regarding Ubisoft and, well, the state of Assassin's Creed Shadow and how it's being perceived in Japan. And apparently, yes, they've had to admit that, well, how they're doing this isn't necessarily, yeah. But Ubisoft admits Yosuke being a samurai is a matter of debate. And this is something that I've seen debated for a while now. A long, long time. I still don't know what the truth is. I'm not going to sit here and pretend to know what the truth is. But the official Twitter account of the Assassin's Creed franchise has posted an apology for the way its portrayal of Japan has been received by Japanese audiences. In their apology, Ubisoft acknowledged that their depiction of Yosuke as a samurai is a matter of debate, tempering their initial commitment to affirming Yosuke as a samurai. Yosuke's inclusion as a samurai in the new Assassin's Creed game has led to edit wars on Wikipedia and criticism of historian Thomas Lockley. And I've heard a little bit about this whole situation, Thomas Lockley. Apparently, they think that he's a complete, total fucking liar. And I don't know if that's true, but when you get Japanese historical knowledge from one of these motherfuckers, one of these clearly self-hating, white-looking motherfuckers, I don't think that that's a good idea. I'm just saying, man. I guess I'm, I guess I'm judging him very harshly, but I mean, he looks about as crooked as his fucking front tooth. Let's be real now. But Thomas Lockley, the man behind Revisionist History of Japan and famous for his books about the legendary Black Samurai Yasuke, has deleted all his social media and disappeared from the internet. This happened after he was caught editing academic papers on Wikipedia since 2015. Wow. Remember, this guy was hailed by the entire media as the most professional historian of the subject. Nihon University is now facing backlash, and other prominent Japanese historians are starting to speak out. The media will not show you this. They wanted to shape reality. And look, man, I don't know to what extent this dude has indeed fabricated what he's said about Yosuke. Like I said, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I know, but this is what I've seen, and it's concerning to say the least. But the apology is here, and he said Ubisoft's most likely spurring the comment due to the growing criticism of Yosuke being lionized as a samurai, as if it were meant to properly represent Japanese history. Ubisoft has since tempered its discourse regarding constructive figure and the franchise as a whole, saying that our intention has never been to present any of the Assassin's Creed game, including Assassin's Creed Shadows, as factual representations of history or historical figures. And the situation has gotten to the point that Japan government officials became concerned of how Ubisoft was potentially misrepresenting Japan history and even accusing Ubisoft of cultural appropriation. Assassin's Creed Shadows will launch November 15th, and yeah, people are still fighting, arguing. Look, there's no closure for this situation. Sad to say, and I don't think there will be. Um, but yes, this entire thing is like in the grand scheme of things, it's silly to us over here. Um, and the whole situation is silly here. But if people in Japan happen to be like pissed about it, I mean, what can you do, right? But here's my take, guys, and I think this is a relatively sane take. Ubisoft fucked up by essentially not doing what they've always done when it came to main protagonists in Assassin's Creed games. You should have just made it a fictional samurai character. The character could have still been black. That you could have essentially had it be inspired by Yosuke instead of actually making him Yosuke. Why you would go out of your way to actually make the main protagonist a historical figure instead of a fictional character that interacts with historical figures is not only like a change from how you do things, but it risks creating these sorts of situations that clearly you've chosen to put yourself in. Like I said, could have had a black character, could have been inspired by Yosuke, could have followed Yosuke's storyline, and then you could have deviated as much as you wanted because you could have said, "Hey, it's a fictional character. It's based upon a real life person who was believed to be a samurai in Japan and respected by Nobunaga." You could have did that, but you didn't want to for whatever reason, which is weird because the other protagonist choice is actually a fictional character, what you've always done in the past when it came to Assassin's Creed. So very, very stupid decision. Like I said, you could have chosen if the character was indeed a fictional figure, a fictional character, you could have deviated as much as you wanted to. You could have did so much. You could have made it your own, and you wouldn't have to put out these stupid fucking apology tours. You could have made the character have optional gay relationships or gay interactions. People are concerned that you're taking a black male protagonist that happens to be a real life figure and changing their sexuality potentially. And like I said, usually when it comes to these sorts of games, you have the option, and they're probably going to give you the option because that's what makes the most sense given how Assassin's Creed games were in the past. And obviously, the backlash Ubisoft would get if all of a sudden they're not going to allow gay relationship options or gay options just in general for the protagonist that you're portraying, unless they just keep it all to the female. And then yeah, they basically put themselves in this really stupid hole, and they deserve it because they chose to be this dumb. Honestly speaking, I really don't care. They fucked themselves, and now they look stupid. Now they have to be on an apology tour when really you could have just did what you always did, make it your own, make it a black character. I think that most people would have been okay with it. I mean, at least here. I mean, I can't really speak for Japan. They have their own set of social norms and social issues, and they happen to at times show moments of racism in their own right, as every single country does. So I mean, I can't really speak for them, but I think that most people here would have been like, it's a fictional black samurai character. Yeah, some people wouldn't have liked it specifically for that, but they would have at least said, hey, it's a fictional character, and they wouldn't have to hold it to any particular standard of a real figure in history, which is really, I think, the biggest issue presented here. Now, you're going to obviously have racists who are going to hate the fact that it is a black samurai character, and I mean, hey man, don't play the game at all. I mean, what can you do? But at least you wouldn't be having to deal with all of this backlash regarding historical legitimacy now that you chose to put yourself in once again. Absolutely stupid on Ubisoft's part. And look, guys, not to put risk it for the biscuit on, like, not to put them on blast or anything. It's really not the case. I think Risk It is honestly trying to be fair to both sides of the conversation. We just happen to disagree on some fundamental things here. And look, man, no, shout out to the homie. I don't have a problem with Risk It, but we definitely differ on this whole situation. What I just explained, I had explained to him on Twitter. And because his response to me bringing up Ghost of Tsushima was, well, don't you think that a story about a black slave turning into a retainer and possibly a samurai in the Oda Nobunaga make it an interesting story? And like I said, if they would have made it a fictional protagonist, they could have did whatever they wanted and there wouldn't be this historical backlash. And you wouldn't have to be apologizing to Japan for potentially disrespecting them. And then Brisket said why they've used real historical figures in all of their games. And I just want to preface the fact that yes, that is a fact, but as side characters, not as the main protagonist. This is a new unprecedented thing for Assassin's Creed, or Ass Creed as I like to call it at this point. And so like I don't understand why he thinks that my argument doesn't hold up to scrutiny. It does. I mean, he said, "Did you take to the streets about the Neo featuring Yosuke?" I mean, whatever, man. Neo's made by what, Koei Tecmo? A Japanese developer, yes. A Japanese developer. I'm gonna sit here and bitch and whine to a Japanese developer on how they choose to depict their own history. No, no. Or Samurai Warriors 5, yet another Koei Tecmo game. I'm not gonna sit here and tell them how to depict their culture. Like I think the main issue is that Ubisoft is French. And not for nothing, the French fuck up everything. The French deserve to be made fun of. They are retarded. Not, for lack of a better term. But or when Guilty Gear included a character that was a black samurai clearly based on Yosuke. And what I'm literally saying Assassin's Creed should have done was this exactly. They literally should have done this. That's what I was saying the whole time. And once again, Guilty Gear happens to be another video game that happens to be made by a Japanese developer. And it is an issue because the reality is Ubisoft now has to come out and apologize to Japan for their apparent misrepresentation in some ways. And then there's countless games, comics, movies, animes that have featured Yosuke. And look, man, I haven't looked at any of those. I can't really speak to it. This person is interested in a story we know is cool as fuck, and I'm not denying that. I don't really know what the case is. I'm not going to sit here and pretend to know something that I don't know. Possibly, dude was dope. Apparently, Nobunaga seemed to dig Yosuke. So, I mean, hey, it is what it is. They said you don't know enough to make a movie or game without taking liberties, so what's the problem? And that's the point. Ubisoft assumed something. They assumed or made it presumptuous as to make everyone believe that Yosuke was a samurai. And they chose to go down this route, and it's not ending too well for them. Look, for me, I just don't care. I think Assassin's Creed games are like mid as fuck. For the most part, I think most of them are kind of mid. I've only liked like 2 of them. And one of them I didn't even finish, admittedly. I finished Odyssey, and I thought Odyssey's great because it's based on Greek mythology. I thought that was cool. And they do take liberties, and I think that we're completely fine with historical fiction, but Ubisoft chose to do something that they hadn't done before, and it's not holding up. So it is what it is. I know people are crying about my tweet because I think Ghost of Tsushima is in fact a better video game, what is likely going to be a far better franchise than Ass Creed. But the first Ghost of Tsushima game is honestly amazing, and I've always stand it. Nothing has changed. In regards to how I think of Ass Creed, I've always thought of Ass Creed as Ass Creed. And I've always thought Ghost of Tsushima is amazing. So, hey, you can cry, you can cope and seethe. I don't give a fuck. If you have a problem with that, sucks to suck, I guess. What are you gonna do, man? But those are my honest, genuine opinions. Ubisoft, stop doing stupid shit. It's really that simple. You should have just made them a fictional character that happens to be a black samurai, and you wouldn't be dealing with any of this shit besides some actual racists out there. It is what it is, brother. Guys, if you can, like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Follow me over on Twitter or Twitch if you'd like to continue the conversation. Start up a movie channel, over 100 subscribers already. Follow me at the movie cage. Link is in the description below. And you guys will all be in cinema. Peace.